on the same thing.
Actually, a pretty awesome thing to implement. They don't have hashes implemented yet in the Super Metroid crossovers, but we can talk about that later because this race is about to go. Today you will have bad luck.
Wow, fortune cookie uncle. Already hitting us up with the bad news. Wow, and there goes all the excitement and you know, on the edge of your seat drama of the first 6 minutes of the escape with bombs in the very first chest.
I mean, that was literally the only bit I had for the next 6 minutes was going to be like, hey, do you think they're going to get bombs from this guard? I don't know what I'm going to talk about now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, the first 6 minutes of the escape is definitely, there's some execution here. And we get to see what item you're actually given. If it's 10 bombs, that would be amusing.
Ooh, with the bow.
So already we're rock solid on our meaningless hash predictions.
Yeah, is it just going in order?
Yeah, I guess. The first dungeon they clear will be the green pendant, Kappa. But interestingly enough, with the bow and they already have bombs in hand, I don't think we're going to be seeing these runners spending a lot of time like farming up for anything. They're just going to be trying to get through here as fast as possible. And when it comes to clearing escape pretty fast, like the bow's right up there. It does pretty good damage. The worst part about the bow, I would say, is probably just the delay in the animation from actually shooting the arrow.
Yeah, you can only have one arrow on screen when you shoot the bow, so you have to wait for that arrow to either connect to its enemy, and if you miss, you gotta wait for it to hit the wall to fire another one, but it is probably definitely like one of the more faster ways to clear escape. Wow, there we go. 10 more bombs.
It's the Uncle starter pack. We'll be finding a hammer and both canes, and it's gonna be great.
Man, wouldn't that be awesome if you had like all the random weapons in like the first, 4 or 5 chests? That'd be really interesting.
You would have nothing but options. Although I guess if you find the bow in a chest, you don't get any arrows. So
that's true.
That would be a little rough. Oh yeah, so both these runners having a little bit of problem with bow accuracy. Jem had some problems in the hallway leading down to the downstairs of the castle, and a little bit of problems shooting the green guard here.
It's been for a reason. Pretty much synced up here though, so at least their bad aim and accuracies here cancel each other out. So
that's always my hope when I'm playing a game. So 4 arrows takes out the ball and chain guard, definitely faster than throwing pots at him. And Book of Medora in Zelda's chest. She was probably just hanging out, enjoying a calm evening in the dark dungeon with her favorite book.
What was her favorite book?
I believe it was titled How to Get into Desert Palace with a Prayer.
I thought that was just like the Rosetta Stone and how to speak hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics. I like it. I believe it's technically called Hylian, but I like your idea better, and we should submit that to the official name.
I'm sure.
But yeah, I think that is the official lore, is that you're translating the ancient Hylian.
Okay.
Which is why you could read what's on the pedestal. That's right, Chad. I said pedestal. And other things once you have the book.
Oh yeah, with that book we can get like the earliest pet check of our lives and basically ruin everybody's dreams right from the get-go. I like that.
With no bomb worries for escape and an early pedestal check, they'll just be crushing Chad's hopes and dreams.
What are they gonna talk about?
Well, see, that's the beauty of Randomizer, though, Ag, is that there's always something in this game that trolls you. Because there's always the last item you have to find. Doesn't matter where it is or when it is.
That's true. We still haven't found the shovel yet, so they can talk about that forever. It's like Jim's kind of inched ahead here with just a little bit more optimized movement.
Yeah, agreed. And with runners for both of these, both the quality of these two runners, you know, outside of routing differences, these tiny bits of execution, especially in places like this or at the end of the game in Ganon's Tower, could end up making a difference. You know, we have no idea how close this race is going to be.
And it's weird, you know, you don't think too much of it, but just having just a little bit better movement, you know, it saves you maybe a second or half second every single one of these screen transitions. But when you have like, you know, 600 to 800 of them a game, you know, that's going to save you 10 minutes right there. You just don't even see it.
Yeah, those tiny differences do add up. You know, that's how people get time improvements in the NMG version of the non-randomized part of this game. All right, blue male, $20 and $50. And both runners correctly remembering that if they bomb the top of the way out of here, they can save themselves about 5 seconds.
It's actually a pretty fast escape. I must say, I really like the way the blue penguin looks. Whoever did that sprite did a really good job. I like it. Wow, look how fast.
Yeah, that's that penguin, blue penguin is just totally adorable. And yeah, we've got what, like a 5:48 or so escape.
It's even faster than the NMG escapes, isn't it?
Yeah, when it's like if you get a weapon capable of killing most enemies in one shot, and you're given bombs, so you don't have to farm. That you can just kind of, you know, blow your way through that part of the seed.
Pretty lightning fast map check there, but it looked like Eastern and Hera were just regular crystals, and I think we had a 5-6 over in Desert.
Yeah, I saw that they were all crystals, and that's about it. But I also never learned how to read.
Okay, that's all right. I got you.
That's what friends are for.
Yeah.
All right, so both runners opting not to check the lumberjack tree. Pretty standard routing when you don't have early boots. But every once in a while, you'll see people wanting to check it out. And wow, flippers in Lost Woods. That's pretty nice to find early.
Kind of one of those weird ones to find early. You know, you're kind of pointed towards Zora, maybe, or you know the waterfall or the waterfall fairy or Hobo. But if it's Zora and you get those early flippers, but you got no money, pretty tough to get that money because you already have those flippers and you can't hula-hand.
Exactly. And speaking of money, Problems, he saw that big 20 and he's like, nope, I'm out of here.
Wow.
He did already have the minimum 50 rupees for Kakariko to have enough to pay off the bottle vendor once you check everything else in here. So maybe he deemed that animation time of holding up that $20 to the sky not worth it. And it is, speaking of not worth it, we did have 0 pedestal checks, even though we had early book. How do you feel about that, Ak?
I personally love it, but I'm actually really surprised you just didn't want to go ahead and get that early information. There's Fire Rod in Blind House here.
Early Fire Source. So with Book of Medora and Fire Source, it's starting to feel a little bit like Desert, but it's still pretty early.
Yeah, I mean, we're inching our way there, still missing at least one major item to finish it, being the glove, or, you know, they could possibly be bootlocked too.
Yeah, that's the trouble with Desert Palace. It requires a lot of things, and some of them, like the boots, aren't always necessarily required.
Yep, can confirm that Desert is our 5-6 with Problem, slightly slower map check, or maybe I was just ready for that one.
Wow, I thought the Olympics were already over. We've got synchronized well diving going on here.
Oh my God, where do you come up with this?
the second, and possibly, I think that was the third Big 20 now that I think about it.
And Bombos. Alright.
So if the seed is saying, I hope you like going into Ice Palace because here's all the tools you would need to enter it. Minus, you know, the Moon Pearl and the Mitts.
You can get into Ice Palace without the Moon Pearl, but the Mitts are pretty much required.
That's true, although if you really want to talk about glitches, that's a rabbit hole that goes down pretty deep, sir.
It's a minor glitch, it would be allowed.
Fair enough.
It's the play that I dream about at night. Going into Ice Palace in 10 minutes and finding the hammer. Without the Moon Pearl, one day.
That's disgusting. I mean, hammer and Ice Palace is already pretty disgusting. All right, so early bottle led us to, wow, that is a poor sick kid. They you know, threatened and robbed a small child, and they only got a penny.
A small sick child at that, but At least they made him pay up.
That's true. Sword in the back of the bar. That was clearly confiscated from some kind of highly-end bar fight. So Link will make good use of that as he makes his way through the seat here.
Nice too, so now we can use that bombos in case, we do want to do the 10-minute Ice Palace dip. Assuming we find those 2 gloves in Mini Moldome Cave.
Exactly, it's all coming together. And wow, both runners blind checking the race game here. I love it.
Really not that bad of a play. You can kind of gauge it based on, if you feel like you got enough value out of Kakariko, which they did, but whatever. They got the bombs to spend.
I like how you kind of started to justify their move and then immediately said it was a bad idea.
Well, I don't know. I would have done it, but that's probably why it was a bad idea. That's kind of where I was connecting the dots there.
That's the ActiveBoker litmus test for the quality of randomizer moves. All right, at 10 minutes 45 seconds, we got ourselves our first route divergence here. Gem is heading east towards the obscurely, I don't know why they named it Eastern Palace over here on the east side of the map. And Problems is heading down to the dam and the kind of the south Hyrule route here.
Your compass navigations are on point here. Thank you for pointing that out, by the way. I didn't quite ever figure that one out.
Yeah, it was pretty obscure. Never learned how to read, but I can look at pictures on maps.
There's one of our gloves for the Ice Palace stream over at behind Saha.
It's alive. So that's a pretty good grab for Gem, although more than likely Problems will end up routing this in sooner rather than later. Although every once in a while you'll find runners getting early Dark World access, and they end up putting off Sahashula's hut for quite a long time just because of the way the routing works. So having progression be in that exact specific location can sometimes lead to problems for various runners. And that was not an intended pun, by the way. That's going to be a real issue for me as this race goes on.
Figuring out whether your puns are intentional or not?
Yes.
Okay.
All the good ones are intentional, all the bad ones were not.
Oh, understand. I actually like that.
Alright, so Generous Guy Cave is basically garbage.
If you're playing a slot machine, that probably would have been pretty good. But yeah, that was just, I think, what was that, 4 big 20s in a row? Pretty nice.
I think so.
Not really what you're looking for.
Well, when you've got flippers, and I guess gloves in Gem's case, Zora is always in the back of your mind. He's definitely in logic, and you haven't found any large 300 rupee stashes quite yet.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly why I thought he was coming up here, because he didn't have the money yet to do Zora, and so he can do, check Saha, get those 3 items, then you can full clear Eastern Palace, get those other 3 items, and maybe you have enough money to check Zora when you go do your South Shore checks. Yeah,
I mean, and also there's a smaller-ish rupee room in Eastern Palace here, so I have a feeling Gem will probably hit that up.
Oh, the smoking section, that's what I call that room, because you can kind of go in there, take a break, and have a cigarette if you want.
I mean, can you not technically do that in most rooms that don't have enemies?
Oh, well, there's enemies in there. I don't know, it's just a random room. I was trying to name them all.
Look, I just like to smoke files. Let me have this. Alright, well, Gem's dreams of big money have come true in Eastern Palace there.
Yeah, that'll really work out for him pretty well.
It is worth noting that the Gem is doing this technically outside of logic since he doesn't have a lantern. So the Rupee Room in Eastern Palace is not particularly difficult, but doing it in the dark does take a little extra time even if you know what you're doing. So since Gem has the required 100 rupees, I don't know how much time he's going to spend over there doing that. But, I mean, you still need money for, Palace of Darkness Entras, Digging Game, and lots of other little things. So maybe he'll devote the time to it. It's hard to tell.
Wow. Powder at the hobo there. Taking his stash.
That's just rude.
You wonder
that guy does not have a lot in life.
I don't know, man. You just see a guy asleep under a bridge with a bag of powder, you kind of wonder.
The most potent powder there is.
I don't know. I think Problems might have just helped that guy get his life together, so I think he's actually a hero.
So like, I'm gonna help you out here, buddy. I'm gonna take away these bad influences. Smash cut to Problems just using the powder all over the place. He's got a problem.
Nah, man. Turns these snakes into pickles. You don't believe me?
Alright, so no issues for Problems here getting these gloves. He did route this in right after his self-shore check. Probably for a lot of the same reasons that Gem did. Looking for money, and it's a completable crystal.
And Jim made those dark rooms look pretty simple. We are in, the top 32. I think everyone is well versed in those. And the fire rod really makes it free. If you notice, he literally just walked into that room, shot 2 shots straight up, and hits that torch.
Yeah, it's that room can be crazy difficult if you have to do it with no lantern and no fire rod. But yeah, as you mentioned, the fire rod does make that room pretty trivial. Still have to know the setup for it though. It's certainly not crazy free. A real solid Armos fight from Gem there.
That was a nice quick kill, and we are getting our first crystal relatively early here.
It's always nice to get something like that knocked, done and out of the way.
Yeah, it's
especially when you know that Palace of Darkness is a green pendant. The dream is always to tie Eastern and Pod together. So having it done when you know Pod is a pendant, it kind of affects your routing decisions, I think.
I didn't even realize that they talked to Saha, so thank you for letting me know that. Yeah, green pendant Pod.
I was the one that was making all of the I can't read jokes, man, but I guess maybe you need to take up the mantle.
Well, you didn't read it. You just saw the tracker read it. Then he put the picture on the tracker, and then you...
That's... You've cut to the heart of it. I've been caught red-handed. I don't know what to say. You win, sir. Well played.
No surprise here, Jim is probably going to clean up his South Shore route. We'll see if he either elects to do Zora after Hobo, or if he just goes straight to Zora and skips Hobo.
Yeah,
he'll probably do both.
I think this routing worked out just kind of accidentally. Worked out a little bit cleaner for Gem. Because of the money he'll have, he'll be in a little bit better position to include Zora and that area into his checks, whereas ProblemsIRL did not have the money at the time he was by the South Shore, so...
I'd be careful when you say accidental, though. Jim might get really mad at you, because I think it was very much his intention to do that area because he didn't have money. That's an ice rod over
That is an ice rod.
Did we say anything about that?
Well, we made references to ice rods being inserted in various places, but that was earlier in the season.
Okay. So nothing about it being inserted on the island, though. Okay, yeah, that's really important.
Well, we don't know 100% for sure yet, though, if Turtle Rock is required, though.
Oh, it is, because that's not a free ice rod, that's an ice rod blocked by an item.
That's true. Because every time you find ice rod incidentally in Kakariko, you almost guaranteed that Turtle Rock is a pendant.
Correct.
But yes, I did not mean to denigrate Gem's routing decisions early.
I just want to make sure.
I mean, I'll make fun of a lot of other things for both the runners, but yes, that was just a solid routing decision. Although you can't necessarily blame Problems for doing the South Shore check first either. But those kinds of advanced routing decisions, they might not save you a ton of time, but as you mentioned, a 10-second pickup here, a 30-second pickup there, it can add up to quite a bit over the course of a race. And Problems having a little trouble in that Eastern Palace Dark Room is opting to do the Fairy Health refill here.
Yeah, didn't use the Fire Rod to get the free vision there. It looked like he was even trying to kill the left guard first before he went for the right one.
Yeah, color me confused.
I guess he just wants to kill everything in this room because he's angry, I'm not sure. Oh, got a spin on them there.
I mean, we're pretty pro monster murder here in this stream, so I can't say I have a real moral problem with what's going on.
Alright, well, he got the small key there. I don't know if that other Igor is still out in the prowl looking for death, but I think he's got it. Okay.
Yeah, he got it. And wow, so even if you had blind gone up to the Zora area without the money, you would have been rewarded. $300 in the waterfall wishing there.
Those are always my favorite, when you make a conscious decision to, like, I don't have money, I'll try and just route this in another way, then it was just sitting there the whole time.
Oh, wow.
Even more. Alright.
So, I guess, you know, Zora is just super lazy. Don't know what to say. Jem will most likely not pick up that money. He's basically got all he needs for the rest of the seed, so I'd be real surprised to see him go down there and get that.
It's really nice of Zora just to leave all the money he's been ripping off from these travelers. He just throws it in random spots. That's a hammer from Zora!
No! Oh my god!
Thanks, Celsius.
The memes, they just write themselves, Zach. So, hammer from Zora. I feel the urge to thank somebody, but I won't. So this is pretty big for Jem. Big progression item there. We're still missing Moon Pearl, which is noteworthy. But any runner that went up to the Zora area without the money would have been severely punished in this particular seed.
Yeah, most certainly. Going up there without the money and missing the hammer would have been really bad. But it worked out in the best, because even if you didn't have the money, it was literally laying around everywhere in that area. And Problems is going to be right behind getting his hammer.
Yep, yeah. Jem's just clearing out the dam, which is something Problems has already done. I have a feeling we're probably going to see Jem head over to Desert after this, just because of the way he separated out the routing of Mini Moldorm Cave versus the dam here. Yep, and my guess appears to be correct. I'm curious to see if he'll opt to route in Hobo at all here. Wow, he's stopping to pick up the money? Oh, no, Jem! Oh, no! Oh,
I don't know why he did that, and I don't know why I'm laughing. That makes no sense at all. I've got nothing to say about that one.
Are you sure you don't have anything to say about that?
I have literally nothing to say.
Nothing to say about it.
Why he lifted up that rock.
Yeah, that makes... It's almost like it makes no sense. Wow. Alright, so heading over to Agina's cave here. I'm having trouble holding it together. Heading over to Agina's cave here. We'll see if he's got anything interesting. Wow, how many big 20s are left in this item pool?
You were counting them earlier, weren't you?
Well, I can't read, so I don't know why you would expect me to be able to do math, actually.
You were like, all right, that's number 4. I thought you had this down. I thought you had a little spreadsheet and you were checking these things off.
I do all my commentary with Excel open. That's how I roll, son. All right, so Jem opting to do Agina's cave. Was that red tunic on Desert Ledge there?
Yeah, why not? You think they're gonna get it?
I highly doubt it. You know, if they hadn't already had blue mail, it might have been worth going down to get just for a safety, but even then, I doubt it.
Ooh. ProblemsIRL did not lift up the rock to check that cave. Wonder if that's gonna hurt him in the end.
Very interesting. Well, he's already been to Zora, so that makes sense for a lot of different reasons. Alright, so no boots, so we don't get to do the fun Desert Palace strats, but what you gonna do?
I was actually gonna say, I think that Desert might be boot locked, but they're gonna find the pearl here.
Yeah, you could very well be right.
But we'll know in 2 chests here. And something's gotta open up here, I think. What else do they have left? The powder? I guess the powder could have the pearl now.
Yeah, I was gonna say finding the hammer at Zora makes me think that Powder Bad might have something. It's hard to tell though.
That is a bootlock desert, so the book was a bait.
Wow, pretty strong bait. Both these runners took it, and honestly, I can't say I blame them. Being given the glove, a fire source, the Book of Medora, still looking for Moon Pearl. So don't blame either runner for making this decision. But Jem immediately taking his relatively moist hammer from Zora. It's probably clammy and gross.
Moist hammer? I don't think I've ever heard that before. I can't say I like it either.
It's the name of my indie rock group.
Very nice. Okay.
So Problems is about to find himself another bootlocked desert situation here, and I believe he's pretty much got the same choices that Gem does left after this.
I mean, they could get, you know, the 2 items from sequence breaking of Death Mountain, but as far as anything in logic, that I believe is the last check that's going to be available for both of them here.
Yeah, this will either be Pearl or some more progression, I think.
There we go. All right.
There we go.
Well, we're in Kakariko, so we can get started on the Skull Woods and Thieves Town and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty darn convenient, actually. So we might get to see 5-heart fighter sword Mothula. Granted, they'll have half magic. Do you think there's any merit act to saving and quitting and doing like the hype cave route first? It feels kind of weird, or it feels kind of suboptimal to do that since you're already up here by Kakariko.
When you have everything to clear these 2 dungeons, I kind of don't like it as much. Nice powder strats here on the guards. I don't think I've ever seen that used.
Gem is he's throwing out all the crowd-pleasing tactics.
I liked it.
If you call lifting a quote-unquote useless rock in Desert Palace crowd-pleasing, and I certainly do. He's playing to his audience.
But yeah, to answer your question, I mean, that's 5 super easy items. What makes that route really nice, hold on, let's do our map check here. It looks like Pot is green, Swamp is red, Thieves Town is blue, and then the other 6 was Skull Woods.
Yeah, that is correct. So we got ourselves a pendant swamp, which is always just scary. For me, anyway.
Yeah. Pendant Swamp, and then, you know, need the mirror to get the ice rod, so that mirror is going to exist. So they will always have the option to go in there.
Unless, of course, you know, the ice rod is their go mode item.
That's true.
Knowing you have to look for the mirror for the ice rod does make potentially a big part of the mystery of this seed known quite early for both these runners here.
Yeah, usually
so,
in these situations you got flute and medallions that are going to be the real headache.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with it.
Alright, so we have Ether, the real headache there.
Yeah, the Harry Potter coin, always very nice. Is Gem going into Thieves Town? He is. All right, so Gem is taking notes from his last race against Problems here and going into Thieves Town. This time, however, it is a pendant. So do you think he's going to check these first 4 and leave, or you think he is committed to clearing this out?
I think it'll really just depend on the items you get. I feel like if you come in here and you just get 4 dungeon items, what was the point? Might as well get some value for your time here. But if you get, you know, 3 or 2, then you can kind of make a judgment call there.
Yeah, agreed. For those that don't know, the first 4 chests in Thieves Town here, one of these 4 will always be the big key, because you need it to progress further in the dungeon. But the rest of the 3 chests could be anything from 3 of the 4 items that are in Thieves Town, or map, compass, and small key, and you've got nothing. So a lot of times runners will kind of peek in here and see. So Gem is at one of the items gotten here. All right, so it was map, compass, and 1 item. So Gem only got 1 useful pull out of here. It looks like he's continuing. Nope, he's death warping.
Just kidding. I kind of thought he was too at that point.
Well, I mean, I wasn't technically... Oh, really nice bumper strats by Problems there. The old double bounce in Skullwoods.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was intentional. He did that on purpose.
Even if it wasn't, it sure was cool.
I see him play Pokemon Pinball on his stream. I think he was probably just using some of those tactics.
Yeah, the cross-game speedrunning tax. Or techniques, rather. I don't know why it would be a tax.
Yeah. Why not? I don't think we've seen an item in Skullwoods yet. We saw the one early one in Thieves Town, but yeah, the Dark World, we haven't found the progression loop yet. So maybe they should have done the hype game thing that you suggested.
Alright, so it looks like that was a shield upgrade in Bumper Cave, so they won't be coming back for that. Problems also showing off some Death Warp tech here, because neither runner has the mirror. Dying is often faster, or at the very least time neutral, and you get some hearts back.
Yeah, not having that mirror, that really solidifies not picking up that red mail, because I feel like, red to blue is just a little too much. You don't really need that much damage reduction in this game, once you're as good as these folk.
Yeah, agreed. Borderline considerable if they were going from green to blue, though. I'm a bit surprised that none of the runners opted to go straight to the back of Skull Woods first and then clear from the back forward, but they might be looking for maybe something that'll make their Motheel fight a little faster.
Yeah, I mean, we only have 5 hearts. We do have the half magic and, the fire rod, even the hammer to help out a little bit. Props used a ton of magic there, though.
Yeah, that was yikes.
You even have powder, too, to refill your hearts going to Mothula, which he also didn't do.
Oh, wow. So Problems, he's going into the Moth fight with about 6-7 shots of fire rod and 3 hearts. Now, for the fire rod, you need 8 clean hits, and the hammer only requires 4. Oh, Problems. 1 heart left.
He does have his blue, though.
That's true.
I forgot they picked that up.
That's true. That was on the tracker, but again, I can't read.
Well, it was empty on the tracker. That's why we were confused.
Exactly. All right, so Problems having no problems with Motheel there. Oh, wow! The mirror. Are we going to see a check of a certain kind right now, Ack? Do you think it's going to happen?
I hope not. But yeah, I suppose now would be the best time for it.
Yeah, if you're going to check the pedestal, like ever in this seed, you're doing it right now. Very nice bomb jump strats right there. Oh, wow. The lamp. So, Skull Woods, definitely the big play here for both of these runners. And the fact that they're both in here at the same time means this race is going to stay even closer. All right, Problems. You got a mirror in your hand. What you going to do? Yeah! Get your Bless RG out in chat. I want to see it.
I want to see the hook. Well, never mind.
You want to hookshot can't be on pedestal.
I didn't say hookshot. You didn't hear me. A little piece of love. All right.
No dice. Man, this seed is just it's just killing all the drama and all the memes.
Yeah.
Chat helping me out though with that Bless RNG, so good work. But the pedestal dream is dead.
So Jim
actually, we're running low on memes, Ack. We know where the ice rod is, and the pedestal's dead. Like, what do we got left? Some Arya, probably?
Have they found the hammer on Sword? Yeah, they did that.
They did. Did they go to the desert area and lift a rock for no reason?
Yeah, I think we did do that, actually.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
It's a meme dead run. I'm sorry to say it. It's a little early, but yeah, no more memes left. We're just going to have execution left here.
Execution and solid routing.
Oh wait, what about that one chest after Moldor?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, that's a good point.
There's a chest after Moldor?
Yeah, Files has never seen it because he always hovers, even when he doesn't have moves.
I thought you were gonna say I've never seen it because I can't read.
That was a super clean hammer moth there from Jim, so he'll get his mirror. And he doesn't even have to worry about that other chest in Skull Woods because he knows he's got both items because he's got the lamp from the big chest.
But he also, I believe, did not use the blue potion. Not that he'll be particularly in dire need of it, but it's always nice to have in your back pocket.
I mean, that could, come in handy. Say if he wants to do an early play on Spike Cave, he's probably still going to need a little bit more hearts than 5. But...
Yeah, that's true. But we could find like Kane and Berna or something like that.
No, we can't.
No. All right, so we got ourselves a graveyard ledge check here by Problems. This is always kind of a tricky area to route in. You often like to include it in like the King's Tomb, Sanctuary of Monk Rocks check. But if you do this now, you don't have to come back to this area in the Dark World. It's a little faster to check. And since the runners know that this seed is definitely boot locked, taking the time to check this in your route is not a terrible idea. Problems is not rewarded, but I do like the routing choice there. So with Lantern, I guess that makes the very first part of Death Mountain in Logic and all of Green Pendant Palace of Darkness in Logic Ag.
Yeah, I can touch up a little bit about Palace of Darkness. Just a little bit of theory crafting. There is some word on the street that the item that Uncle gives you is not necessarily considered a progression item when he gives it to you. I'm really curious when they're going to want to go over to Pod, because at this point you might think that the bow is a little bit of a red herring, or like kind of bait.
That's true. We already had some fake red herring progression early on with that book, leading to nothing as well.
Hype Cave was pretty awful right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that. Boy, I feel like 1 out of 10 is pretty low, but 2 out of 10 is too generous. So I'm gonna make it even more granular and go 1.5 out of 10.
I was thinking like 1.3, but I went to college.
Yeah, they don't let you into college if you can't read.
So 3 bombs over in Bombos. Clever. All right, I see what they did there.
Yeah, that's very. You know, we don't have a lot of memes for this particular seed, but it's very on lore. It's very on brand. I can appreciate that.
So I guess another meme we could have going on right now. How long do you think for them to go get their mitts in left side swamp? That's another good one.
Yeah, swamp is fully accessible, and nothing inside of Spectacle Rock.
I do like this play from Problems, though. I mean, you can come up here, you can knock out Hera, that's a crystal, and then you have the loaded East Death Mountain with the million items over there, so...
Yeah, agreed. It's pretty solid routing. Generally, when large swaths of Death Mountain tend to get unlocked all at the same time, even though there's tons of... Wow, wait, what was that? Oh, that was the best boomerang, right? On Ether there?
No matter what you do, blue always returns to you. That's a riddle, Files.
So blue is definitely not my father who left to go get cigarettes many years ago. So he is not on Ether Tablet. I gotta keep looking.
It was not your father on the Ether Tablet. I do believe it was the blue boomerang, but I could see why you got those confused. I never thought of it that way. So many digs are we going to dig up today here? About like 10. That's fine. And a good old tile room here in Hera, everyone's favorite. Problems does get the coffee break spot, so he can sit there, hang out, and let these tiles hit his flashing spray. We can sit here and wait. I'm a little anxious too. I hope my co-commentator is fine. He randomly disappeared. I kind of miss his memes now. It's been like 15 seconds. I've already got his face on milk cartons, but he's back. All right.
Okay.
Nobody worry.
We're alive. Sorry, my restream just died, but now we're good now. So how many digs did I miss, Ag?
It was like a number. I don't know.
It was okay. Was it like, a number less than 30?
Probably, yes. I think so.
All right. Sorry, I had to have a good cry after that dad joke. I hit a little too close to home.
Oh, I could understand. I'm glad you took the time. So Jim did remember to get his ice rod, so he routed that in. Probably kind of smart that he did that prior to going to Death Mountain. You know you're going to get all those items up there, and say you found like mitts and cane, and then you had the medallion required to open it, you might as well just do Turtle Rock while you're up there, so...
Yeah, again, very similar to how Jem routed, I'd say, his Easter Palace before the Lake Hyrule area checks. He's setting himself up for success. He doesn't necessarily know he's going to get what he needs, but if he does, he'll have saved himself a lot of time. So that's I just think that's really solid routing choices by Jim.
Thinking ahead's really smart, but sometimes just not thinking at all and going where all the items are, those routes really work out too. So
yeah, that's the beauty of random. Sometimes you just gotta go where the correct location is.
So ProblemsIRL is making sure to do every single boss in this game with 3 hearts or less, and ooh, he got cornered pretty hard there by Troll.
Oh wow. Yeah, ThinkDorm there did not play very nice. Alright, so Sky Cabbage is not giving Gem too much trouble. Alright, let's see round 2 for problems here. Alright, 3 hammer hits. Okay, that's 2.
You can do it, I believe. He's got it.
Alright. It was your belief that gave him success, Hack.
Yeah. Even though he did this like 15 minutes ago.
Well, your amazing power of positivity is so incredible it has reality warping time traveling effects.
Really?
No, I just lied to you right there.
Well, hey, why don't you check out Ether Tablet since you broke my heart?
Oh man, I'm sad again. If my restream cuts out again, we'll know that there's something up.
I'll take over. It's fine. So,
Gem heading up through to Hera here. Meanwhile, Problem's heading over to East Death Mountain. There's a huge pile of chests over here. And that is big 20 number. I'm not counting anymore.
It was actually number 13.
I don't believe you.
I said it confidently. You can't not believe me. So everybody.
I said it with a firm assuredness. I cannot be doubted.
Everybody
You know what?
loves
I'm
doing
changing.
Spiral Cave with no boots here, so that's what Problems is doing. Sorry, what
The
were you saying?
old Resident Sleeper Cave. No boots, no hook shot. And he's rewarded with a very tiny dinner plate. An awful Beery and mini Moldworm luck. Alright, so if there's nothing up here in Paradox Cave, both these runners following pretty logical routes, but won't be rewarded. But again, the bulk of the chest is we're about to walk into over here. There's 7 items we're about to open up in about a minute.
It'd be interesting, you know, if this was a goose egg and we found the other 7 remaining big 20s in the pool here. Hearts, I suppose, also are probably somewhere in the item pools as well, as we, you know, there are 20 available and they have 6.
Well, you start off with 3, Yak.
Right. So.
Math.
Curious. Well, hey, look, there's a big 20.
Alright, and that was the game trying to give us another big 20. It's just getting low on them.
Big 20, and wow, so literally nothing on
Yikes.
Death Mountain. That's really surprising, actually. So I guess that pod play is starting to look a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if mitts are maybe either in pod or perhaps they could be in the bottom of Thieves Town.
That's
I
true, too.
believe, there's 3 items in the bottom of Thieves Town.
Correct, yeah. We only got like 3 bombs from the first 4 chests, and then all of the dungeon items.
Alright, so Problems has got some decisions to make here. I have a feeling based on this routing that he is going to experience the sorrow and pain of just a terrible hype cave.
So I can't help this, but I don't know if this is the seed telling a story or not. If you look at their menu when they open it, it's a big giant N. Does that tell us anything?
No.
Wait, so yes?
maybe yeah, you're right. The seed just next leveled me. I need to think about this for a minute. Holy crap.
Next level? Okay.
Well, speaking of next level, it looks like Problems is heading over to the next level, which is appearing to be the Palace of Darkness.
I don't know if he did the K45 or Digging Game or Stumpy either, so it looks like he's just heading right over this way. I think that was the checks that kind of gave him some space between him and Jim here.
Yeah, agreed. And Jem's got to spend all this time clearing out the Death Mountain that we now know to be useless.
I don't know, he'll get himself a heart container and like 65 more bucks, you know? Can you call that useless? And a dinner plate.
Yeah, and some spending money. You know, he can enjoy himself at the local arcade. Play some Street Fighter Alpha. Maybe that's just the pizza joint next door I live.
I missed what was over there in the pyramid, but I'm gonna assume it was hot trash because you completely left it there.
Yes, it was garbage. I believe it was a piece of heart. So yes,
And
hot trash.
Trash is another man's treasure.
That's true. If it was a heart container, you could at least make the consideration about it. But when you hit the top 32, all these runners are like, that ain't worth taking 10 seconds for.
You're actually forced to skip it once you hit top 32.
Oh really? They immediately just delete you from the tournament if you pick up any heart containers on the pyramid?
No, they just really give you a hard time about it if you do it.
Oh yeah, so I was gonna say I don't remember reading about that in the rules document. I could be wrong though.
You don't
because
know
again, never learned how to read.
Correct. We figured it out. So, if Pod is the play here, Problems is really putting himself in a good position.
Yeah, I mean this is a tough check to justify early when it's a pendant, especially when you've already cleared out Eastern. But the seed did give you the lantern, so maybe this is his attempt at reading the logic here.
And Pod is a super long dungeon too. I feel like it's one of the longest dungeons that we have.
Yeah, I think a lot of people tend to overvalue Pod because like, oh, it has 5 items, but it also has just a crap ton of small keys, and it does take a long time to clear, as you mentioned. And they don't have boots, so they can't do one of the more significant time-saving tricks for routing with the bonk on the staircase.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about like hovering to the Bollock spot.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess. That would be some next level play, though.
So what you're saying, all Problems is found right now is small keys, a little bit of despair, but we're about to get to the meat and potatoes portion of Pod. Just always gotta check these first 6 chests, guaranteed to have 4 small keys, but you'd really hate to leave a big key back here because then you have to go all the way back to the big chest.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those gambles that you just are almost forced to take, and a lot of times it depends on what items you have and exactly what it is you're looking for. Like if you're in go mode -1 item, going straight to the back of Pod is probably statistically the best play, but you never know. Alright, so you could check out the left side of the pyramid. We're gonna see if Gem is going to be removed. Okay, he's not.
Okay, he's not gonna get any nasty DMs from people saying you picked up that heart piece on the pyramid. How dare you?
Yeah, we wouldn't want Gem getting any hate. Speaking of hate, I would imagine that both runners, having taken all that time clearing out East Death Mountain, and most of their decisions in front of them involve pendant dungeons, they've got to be hating the way the seed is treating them right now.
Yeah, that's always the most fun when the seed opens up to you by giving you a handful of pendant dungeons to go clear, and you got to pick which one's the right one. But is the beauty of Randomizer.
Yeah, I think this is pretty, like, for runners that made the decision to skip Thieves Town, taking that lantern that you got and heading over to the Palace of Darkness, I think that's a pretty solid read of the seed. I mean, it's not necessarily guaranteed to be correct, but I do like the decision they both made here. And ProblemsIRL was so scared by that mini Helmosaur that he pooped a bomb. So that is embarrassing. Live on stream, yikes.
Well, to his credit, the room before that, where you had to throw a bomb to hit the switch, but negotiate the 5 turtles in that room, wanting to mug you, he actually, pulled that room off really well, and there's the mitts and Pod, so that ruins the meme dream again.
It does. Those were some delicious meat and potatoes items right there. Sorry, your reference earlier has made me hungry. So now the thought is, Pod is a green pendant dungeon. Master Sword, sword pickup, very nice. But Pod is a green pendant dungeon, so even if they reach the point where they know Helmosaur doesn't have an item, literally that he's carrying, Helmosaur turn-in could always be something important. We don't know yet. So having already gotten progression in you know in the form of Titan's mids, do you think they're gonna leave once they clear out everything else here, or do you think they're gonna commit all the way?
It's really interesting. With the key setup, I don't believe that those mids were bow locked. And I mean, it really depends maybe if Helma has an item or not, but they also found 2 swords here as well, so it's got mitts and all the swords.
Alright, it looks like Problems has done the calculus and says, I deem this Helmasaur play worthy of my time. So he'll be heading back here to Helmasaur.
I've always said that, you know, Pendant Helmasaur has the goods. You gotta think, what are these mitts actually unlocking for me too? You have the Smith sequence, you can do hammer pegs, Ice Palace. You know, maybe it's better just to get this out of the way, just in case you're not doing all that stuff for no reason.
Well, even Dark Death Mountain only has 2 chests available, and Turtle Rock is not even enterable since they don't have Canis and Mario yet. So yeah, now that you've contextualized it, this play does make a lot more sense. I think I almost sort of accidentally gave you a compliment there, and I'm already regretting it.
I wasn't paying attention, so it's
okay. That's good. All right.
Some important to note, both these runners opted to not check Catfish on their way over the pod. It'd be really funny if that's the item we're looking for, and when they'll go back and check it. Outside of that, though, I think really kind of following the same page here. Everyone's kind of done something that the other one hasn't done. The Jim will be over here getting his mitts and both of his swords.
It's always nice to find Tempered.
Oh yeah, it's a huge difference from, you know, just from Master Sword to Temper's awesome, but from Fighter Sword to Tempered, I mean, it changes the game. You don't even need to worry about swords anymore.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, there's a reason that the current NMG route still takes the time to go pick up Tempered Sword. It's that good. Alright, Helmasaur fight for Problems. Should go pretty straightforward with that Tempered Sword. Helmasaur playing nice, not spitting out any fireballs, so that's pretty good Helmasaur RNG. Very nice Helmasaur fight by Problems there.
Yep. That was a good fight. Used both the spin slashes, or equates the same damage as 2 butter slashes, so gets a single arrow for it. I'm glad he's probably feeling pretty good about that right now.
Gross. Well, the nice thing about, well, the quote-unquote nice thing about having a Pendant Pod here with the mirror is that, like, you're gonna know pretty quick whether or not this time was well spent, because he'll mirror out and go check in that Greed Pendant right now. And every time they open up that menu, I see that reverse N-Ac. You're killing me.
It's there, yeah.
Alright, so Gem opting not to go finish Helmasaur, so this is huge. If ProblemsIRL gets something, like, of value here, this could be a game changer. Well, I mean, I guess it has some value, right? It's money, but that's not what I meant. So that's tough news for ProblemsIRL there. Does spend that time clearing out Helmasaur and is not rewarded. And wow, is your dream coming true, albeit a little bit too late? Your Ice Palace related dreams?
They already have the hammer, so my dream's been crushed. But where they found the hammer, it was actually like a new dream reborn, so it's...
Yeah, that's true. You know, we were complaining about the memes being dead, but we were rewarded. Well, we're going to see if Gem is going to be rewarded. Ice Palace is definitely one of those palaces that you want to do in Go mode, if at all possible. But the first thing Gem does with that mitts is he goes straight into Ice Palace.
And that's interesting too, and he does need to pay a little bit of attention to the key layouts in this, just in case anything you find in here, you can kind of note whether or not it's hookshot locked or not, and kind of maybe piece together where that hookshot might be. I mean, for all we know, it could be in Ganon's Tower, but if Ice Palace is hookshot locked, then obviously it's not there, so you wouldn't go looking for it there.
Yes, very true. Yeah, the bomb jumps in this dungeon definitely let you get around the hookshot requirements. But yes, knowing what is and is not required by the logic is very important at this skill level in the tournament. All right, so Problem's making a similar calculation, or a singular calculus, if you will, as Gem did, and is heading over to Ice Palace here. It makes a lot of sense for both these runners. It's a crystal dungeon. They're still looking for quite a few progression items here, so.
And crazy to add, you know, it felt like Problems IRL had a little bit of a step on Jim, mostly just because the checks were different, but after that Helmsor play not paying off, it looks like, you know, Jim's kind of taking back that lead.
Yeah, and I think Gem has also checked a couple of extra spots in the overworld that Problems IRL has not, so if Problems goes back to check those locations, he'll be losing even more time, unfortunately. But it's still pretty early in this race. I mean, we've got ourselves a lot of progression items. We still need Canis and Maria, we need Hookshot, we need Flute, we need Boots. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we're still looking for.
Yeah, it's really surprising that none of those items have popped up yet either.
Very nice bomb jump by Gem there. It's one of those bomb jumps that's it's got a pretty straightforward setup, but you really need to kind of have to look into it and practice it a little bit so you know how to execute it, but it's pretty straightforward once you know the setup.
Anybody who's learning bomb jumps, you know, still trying to get used to them, learn how to do it with the spin setups. It's the freest thing ever. It kills me when people fail them with the sword, because it is so much easier to do it using a spin setup. I believe that's what he used there, but yeah, with that one, you basically just get on the bottom pixel there, hold left, place a bomb, and you're good to go.
Yeah, Ice Palace is definitely, I think, like the more you play this game, especially in the randomizer with all the routing options, Ice Palace is really the most interesting palace, like in terms of tech and in terms of routing. The things you can do in here based on your skill level and the strats you're comfortable with are definitely pretty varied and pretty interesting. Alright, so meanwhile, nothing particularly exciting in Ice Palace. I mean, other than an all-important required crystal, I guess.
Well, it looked like he found a big key and a small key. Locked by...
we had
the hookshot?
Yeah, we had the bomb upgrade in the very first chest, the shield upgrade, and then I think a 50 in here.
By the way, Problems, I don't know, but he's fighting Colts there right now, so he basically just said, whatever, I'm just gonna kill this boss. And I mean, we've already found, I think, 2 of the items so far, so if he just go modes this and there's nothing here, that's the 3rd item.
Oh, that's
so
the 3rd item, okay,
yeah.
yeah.
If he dips out, he is made up all that time again.
That's pretty nice. So, you know, the advantage swinging back, you know, Gem definitely giving us a clinic on how to route Ice Palace if you're wanting to clear everything before you kill the boss. Some very nice execution on bomb jumps. Not as much on the ice physics there. But unfortunately, the last item being on Cold Stare will mean this is time not very well invested. That does also mean, I believe, Ak, that I think Hookshot can be on Ganon's Tower now, correct? Because we're not guaranteed to have to go in the swamp, and you did not need it for ice.
That's why I'm sitting here being kind of quiet, because I'm trying to think about it for a second, and like my brain is just...
I'll go get the fire extinguisher.
There's just a dead gerbil inside of it right now that doesn't know what to do anymore, so I'm actually not sure, but I
feed
think,
it more pellets!
I think it wasn't hookshot locks. I think that maybe that hookshot can be in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where I miscounted the items, so already I'm afraid to do. See, don't do math live on air, man. Just let chat figure it out, because chat would never lie to you or say anything that's untrue.
Well, I can't remember if they need both small keys immediately or if they just need one.
Well, either way, Problems is heading over towards the Thieves Town area. So he'll have this option to go deep into Thieves Town that's a little bit different than when Jem was here because Problems has cleared a lot more locations, but he'll also have access to the mitts and the mirrors, so he might be more tempted to do kind of the full south route through the Dark World before he opts to go into Pen and Thieves Town.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's going to do. He's probably going to go ahead and do these overworld checks here. He'll grab the smith, and if you don't find anything from the smith and doing purple chest and all that, then you can go ahead and...
You could also, I guess, while you're here, debate going in and checking the first 4 chests of Thieves Town since you have the mirror now. But if you're going to bother going into Thieves Town at all, you might as well clear it. It might be his thought process. Nope, he's going in. And he's equipping the mirror. I'm some kind of prophet.
It's going to be a really interesting call for him because we know the only thing he's going to get is bombs from the first chest and then... Or there's a big key from the first chest, bombs from the second. Like, what do you leave the first 4 after you just left, 2 items in Ice Palace?
Yeah, I mean, it might be a gamble that he committed to doing. Like, regardless of what I find in these first 4 chests, I'm leaving. Is probably what he's thinking, because he's already got that mirror out. So I think he might mirror after this and finish that, kind of the frog route before he goes back in. It's hard to tell, but. All right. So meanwhile, we've got Jem doing said frog route. Jem has already been through and done the dig game, I believe.
Yes,
so he just. Yeah, he's probably okay. So Problems is continuing. He got out that mirror and said, "I just wanted to look at my beautiful penguin face." That's all it was for. Every time he was feeling down, he just looked at that cute penguin face in the mirror. He's like, "I've found the will to continue." All right, so Problems is continuing on through here. He's got to be feeling like in his head, he's got to be like, oh god, I full cleared, Palace of Darkness. I did get the Titan's Mitts, which are required, but I did kill Helmasaur unnecessarily. So dipping all the way through another pendant dungeon's got to feel a little scary for Problems IRL right now. Meanwhile, Jem turns in the sword, gets nothing, and is heading over. Oh, are we getting a chest world tour here?
He might be taking this all the way to Catfish. He has not checked the Graveyard Ledge or Catfish yet, so he might just be washing the lunch before he goes ahead and brings it over to the old man.
I mean, that's just courtesy right there.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, it's like a sandwich. Like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that's not in some sort of Ziploc bag. Actually, a nice cool dip in the water might be good, for a sandwich in like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in a bag. Probably cools it down a little bit.
Yeah, it's been out in the sun. But that doesn't exist in the Dark World, but yeah, I don't know. Soggy lunch, it's fine.
It's better. Is it better than no lunch? I was about to say it was objectively better than no lunch, but now I don't know what to believe.
I have no answer to that.
See, again, you were talking about meat and potatoes earlier. I'm just hungry.
That's true. I think, yeah, we're starting to see food everywhere. Like, do you think that N in their tracker stands for nachos?
Well, it's like an inverse backwards N, so yes.
You have to eat them standing on your head?
No, if you're right-handed, you have to eat them with your left hand, and vice versa.
Got it. Understood. That's tough, man.
All right, so we've got 2 items left in Thieves Town here. This is going to be some big checks here for Problems IRL. That is unfortunate. So if Blind does not have an item, Problems IRL has got to be feeling behind.
That's going to be really putting him in a hard spot because, you just go mode in Ice Palace, but then you're going to go do Pendant Thieves. I mean, at this point, you just have to keep riding what you're doing. I don't think he's going to go back to Ice anytime soon.
No, I don't think he is
you
either.
have to commit to it, yeah.
Like, that is the last chest in the game for him at this point. Alright, Catfish has a big pile of nothing. Blind, meanwhile, has a physics pun, which I approve of.
So what we're looking at right now is whatever's from Blind, the purple chest, the 2 chests on Dark Death Mountain, or Swamp Palace with no hook shot.
That last thing you just said made me throw up in my mouth a little bit.
Thieves Town is not the answer today.
Oh, that sucks for Problems IRL.
Fun fact, by the way, if you know what's on the pedestal, you can skip picking up this pendant and save yourself 20 seconds or so.
Ah, that is true.
Chest. Oh boy.
I was expecting Gem to go into Swamp right there. But it looks like he's going to Dark Death Mountain instead.
In the light world?
Well, I mean, you could walk over to the warp point is right there, man.
There's no way you could do it. That's why he saved and quit. So we're gonna do Dark Death Mountain and check those 2 chests. We also have Spike
It's not possible, Files. All right, so we've got. Yeah, I mean, with no hook shot, this check feels really bad if you're wrong because you have to climb Death Mountain the longest way possible, go all the way down to the right side, and you're only doing it for 2 checks.
Yeah, it's pretty dirty.
But I mean, then again, what was Gem's other choice? If it was somehow possible in this world, in this video game, to get into Swamp from where he was, you would have had, what, 4 chest checks, maybe 5, depending on where the big key was?
Yeah, and then he has a Green Pendant Pod, which he's probably not feeling too good about, or going back into Thieves Town.
Yeah, I mean, for all the Problems IRL did clear a lot of the dungeons unnecessarily, but it's going to help his routing or maybe his mindset a little bit because he didn't skip anything, whereas Gem, he's got to be worrying about, Palace of Darkness, got to be worrying about Thieves Town. Because if Gem at any point goes back to any of those places, he'll have lost time over Problems IRL because Problems IRL did it while he was there. All right, so Bombos is Turtle Rock, so that is 1 medallion we don't have to worry about. I just realized that if Meyer is Ether, then we do have 1 meme that could still be alive, and that's Bird Toss.
That's an old one. Nobody remembers that one.
It's a little vintage, but it's an old meme, sir, but it checks out.
Wow.
All right, so let's see if this very long trek for Gem ends up being worthwhile. I guess in addition to these 2 chests, he does get some knowledge about whether or not Turtle Rock was Quake locked or not. So maybe that was something that was on the back of his mind. Oh wow, flute!
A flute?
Yikes. So flute in Dark Death Mountain. I would assume Gem is just going to immediately activate this. Yep, he's starting in Sank. He's going to go play Swag Duck National Anthem.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. And it's crazy. You'd think the flute was a big piece of progression, but I mean, that just gives you Mire Shed and Checkerboard, which, I mean, at this point, it's probably
high
got
value.
Something, but gosh, I mean, you'd be expecting a little bit more, like maybe a way to actually get into Mire before you go there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, without, assuming that Mire is not Quake, yeah, you're right. They don't have hookshot or boots, so they can't even get into the dungeon itself, much less not having Samaria to be able to complete it. So Mire is just a hot pile of garbage right now.
Yeah. I mean, if they knew what we knew, if they find the hookshot or boots over there, you go into Mire, because things are looking pretty thin right now.
Oh yeah, although what would be really cool is if that run to flute led to hookshot in like the Mire area, then they had to go all the way back to Dark Death Mountain again to find like the hookshot or something. That would be gross.
Wait, to find the hookshot and Mire to go back up to Dark Death Mountain and find the hookshot again?
Yeah, and then after they find
and then after that they go to Swamp to get the hookshot?
The hookshot, and then believe it or not, the hookshot after all that trouble will also be in Ganon's Tower.
Wow.
Hey, the meme is alive.
You killed the bird.
The meme of me not understanding how nouns work. Alright, let's see if this flute-locked items are going to be of any value. Ooh, nothing yet. We've got Checkerboard Cave left.
I'm feeling pretty good about it. I don't know, though. I think the boots are going to be here. Let's have some pity on them. They've been walking slow for an hour and 10 minutes here.
Well, the boots would be handy because they could finish off desert while they're here and get into mire. But that would be almost too nice. Oh, get wrecked, Ack.
Ow.
Wow, so Gem went through all that trouble. I mean, I guess he has a flute for slightly faster overworld movement. Alright, ProblemsIRL's making a pretty big play here. He somehow magically was able to get, through some kind of witchcraft or voodoo, was able to get into the area for Swamp, and I think he's going to the Swamp House.
Yeah, I didn't even see how he did it because I was watching to see what Jim got. So we made it over to Swamp. Seemingly the right play. Granted, what we're looking... Well, actually, I think there has to be something in Swamp, even if it's just Birna or the cave at this point. Or any
Yeah,
other major progression.
I'm a bit surprised that none of the runners opted to... I mean, I guess, did Gem have enough hearts while he was up there with his blue potion to check Birna's Spike Cave?
He should have, I think. Yeah, he would have had plenty.
Yeah, because he's still got that blue potion. He's got, what, 8 or 9, 10 hearts there. Alright, so this is good news for ProblemsIRL because Gem is going to have slightly less efficiently cleared Total Rock than ProblemsIRL did. Meanwhile, he's checking the last place that pretty much has to have progression at this point.
Yeah.
Good old Pen and Swamp. And with how early flippers were, it was kind of hard to tell when you had to go into here. I guess the logic chain would have been Fire Rod from Mothula, since that's where Mirror was. Because you need Mirror to enter Swamp.
Pretty much like, you know, step 4 was going to Pendant Swamp without the hook shot probably to this game.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Good old rando.
Yeah, pretty much. So if step 4 is enter Pendant Swamp without the hook shot, I don't know what. Step 5 is collect underpants. Step 6 is question mark, and step 7 is prodded.
I think you missed a couple in between, but I know definitely 1 through 6 was correct.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Alright, speaking of about right, ProblemsIRL is heading over. So Swamp wasn't even kind enough to have the progression item early in front. He's got to go all the way to the annoying side.
I mean,
What would be the worst possible solution here? He guesses the second chest that has the big key, and he has to go all the way back to the middle of Swamp to get the item inside the big key chest.
See, you could look at this a different way, though. At least he didn't get the boots or the hook shot in the first chest, and then he had to make a decision. The game is deciding for them. You have to do everything.
I mean, that appears to be the case. I mean, we're at 1 hour and 12 minutes with 2 very skilled runners. I mean, we're still, what, like 3 or 4 progression items away from go mode?
We've been like the same 3 or 4 items away for like the last 40 minutes, it feels. They've just gone everywhere and found nothing. It's really surprising.
Well, and, you know, Gem definitely had a bit of an early, I guess you could call it a lead over ProblemsIRL, but because Problems was efficient in his clearing of these locations, he's gaining back time over Gem for all the time Gem's spending going back in to complete these dungeons. Like, Gem's going to be in real trouble if he goes back to Palace of Darkness after this.
Yeah, most certainly. And I mean, it's a really tough call, too. You have to think, like, do I go back and just kill Pendant Helmsaw, or do I know what the hook shot was Swamp? Alright, so we have 1 chest left in Swamp.
Well, of course it was going to be the second chest. Why would it be anything else?
Good point.
Why would anything ever work out?
See, it could have been a hook shot in that chest, though, and then you could have hook shot it over to get the other one.
That would have been so convenient. And actually, if it is the hook shot, ProblemsIRL is going to have a real tough decision about, do I complete this dungeon while I'm in here?
I would. I'd be so tired of this seed by now, I'd just be like, whatever.
Like, screw this. Well, I mean, he'll have completed, oh wow.
Samaria, that's great for Problems, because that's just going to push him right up.
Well, they still can't get into Mire, though. No boots, yeah, no hook shot.
But he'll go up to Dark Death Mountain.
Oh, yep.
And then he'll do Turtle Rod.
Yep, very true. Yep, that actually worked out super well. Now the real risk is going to be you know, if hookshot, well, I guess hookshot can't be any further in swamp, right? Because everything else is hookshot locked.
Correct.
I was trying to come up with nightmare scenarios, but you know, logic.
The hook shot is locked by. That was actually a hook shot on the pedestal, a little piece of hook shot. You guys read it wrong.
And then we've got hook shots pretty much all the way down. So what? We've got we've got hook shot left to find the boots, and also the hook shot. I think it's just those two items.
And they don't necessarily have to find the hook shot in Turtle Rock. It could just be the boots in Turtle Rock, and then that hook shot is in Ganon's Tower under the assumption that I am correct that you could finish Ice Palace without the hook shot, which, I don't know, I wouldn't put money on it, but...
Well, that's true, but I mean, have you considered the hook shot and where that is located? I think we need to discuss this in depth.
I don't know. I wouldn't be worried about it, you know? You just hover and you're fine, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, meanwhile, Jem did make what we know to be the correct decision to find Samaria here in Pennant Swamp. But ProblemsIRL's got a little bit of a lead over him. It'll be interesting to see if he opts to check the Super Bunny Cave before he goes into Turtle Rock. Since he has everything he needs to complete the dungeon, it wouldn't surprise me if he just did it now.
I mean, if you found the hook shot... I'm not even memeing here, I'm just trying to be honest. If you found the hook shot in Super Bunny Cave, that would allow you to do Turtle Rock just a little bit faster. Or say the boots or anything. Outside of that, you might as well just do it.
Yeah, I was like trying to think of items that would speed up your run through Turtle Rock, and yeah, it's pretty much the boots and a hook shot. And honestly, the hook shot only speeds up the torch room just a little bit.
Yeah, but it's like a lot of it. Because that room's just awful without it.
Hey, there's the Spike Cave logic piece there.
Interesting. I wonder if that hook shot's in Spike Cave the whole time. That'd be really strange.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting scene. And actually, if that were true... Alright, so ProblemsIRL did correctly remember that he does not have the hook shot.
I'm very impressed. That muscle memory is so strong there.
It is. I've walked into this dungeon saying to myself, all right, I don't have the hook shot, so we've got to do this like the normal vanilla way, and then promptly forgot about it.
Yeah, I've said it like while I'm placing the block, and then you get to go around in a whole circle just remembering how dumb you are. It's the room that just literally punishes you as it goes.
The old Samaria block travel of shame. Alright, so no hook shots in the roller bar room here, so they have to do kind of standard avoidance tech there. Every time I say hook shot now, it's starting to bother me.
It is a little bit. We've said it a lot.
That's true. Well, the hook shot is an important item in this seed. The importance of the hook shot cannot be minimized.
They might not even need it.
Well, you technically always need the hook shot for the end of Ganon's Tower, but if either of these runners are capable of hovering, then that might be something that they will consider.
I think we have seen Jim hover before. We definitely saw, if you're watching him practice, we saw how not to hover because he was trying to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and that could very well affect his his choices in this seed. You know, if he did in the very beginning of this, while the stream was still being set up, Jem was practicing and unfortunately did fail a hover at the end of Ganon's Tower. So, you know, that decision in that practice might affect his routing. He might be less willing to attempt it live in the race.
Jim doing the right thing here and guessing wrong, so he'll have to go back to the right to get his Cane of Samaria and back up the mountain.
So he did the right thing by going left, which was not right?
Correct.
Right.
Mine.
All right, so he'll get his Samaria here, and we'll immediately head up to Dark Death Mountain, and we'll climb it for the third time, and he'll have at least one more time after that, unless he'll have to climb it again because he'll have to cool down and do Desert and Mire.
You gotta do it the long way too.
Ugh, yeah. I mean, it's not to be understated. Every time you have to climb Death Mountain, especially the long way without the hook shot, like it really adds up. Like if you start counting right now, I mean, Gem's going to clear this relatively fast, but if you have to do this climb without boots and you have to do it 2 or 3 more times than your opponent, I mean, that time adds up to an insignificant amount of time.
Yeah, this was like a sub-hour seed if you took Death Mountain out of play.
Yeah, this game would be faster if you did remove portions of it that are required, Ak. That is 100% true.
Thank you. I had my analysis team come up with that one.
Yeah, you received a card from the intern and you just read it without looking at it. That was your first mistake. That was a card handed to you by an intern that just does not like you, is trying to get you fired.
The back of it said, "Call me."
It was just a picture of a hook shot on there.
Yeah.
All right, so Mimic Cave, I mean, we're still looking for hook shot and or boots here. And Turtle Rock so far not paying out. Although doesn't Turtle Rock pretty much have to pay out? It's either here or it's at Spike Cave.
Yeah, we know that. They don't know that as a whole just because of the few checks that some have done that others haven't. I guess being just Ice Palace and Pendant Pod, respectively, between them, I think, is what they each haven't done. But
I believe you're correct. Yeah, Gem did go back and clear Thieves Town for nothing but sadness. So yeah, that did close the gap between the two of them a little bit. All right, time to see if Gem is also going to remember his muscle memory. Oh wow.
What was that? You say it. I'm not saying it.
I'm afraid to say it. I don't. It's the boing boing weapon.
Oh, okay,
the old tickle beam.
You got the boing boing tickle beam from the roller room.
Well, that's got to be a big relief to find that, because now, I mean, Desert is still boots locked, but
go back in the swamp and get it.
Oh god.
Go get your boots in swamp.
You know, do you if you feel like you're behind for all the pennant dungeons you've cleared and for how unfriendly the seed has been, like, do you just make the hero call? Like, it's still objectively not the right play, but you know, it is a low percentage play that could save your run.
Yep, hero call. I wouldn't even check Hookshot Cave. I would just be like, "See you later. I'm going right back to swamp."
I'm betting the farm on this play. I don't even have a farm. All right, so yeah, at this point we are boots away from go mode. Desert is boots locked. Although I'd say the next cruelest thing that could happen would be if boots are in Misery Mire, because you would really want to do those together. Although it'd be, I guess, doing Misery Mire without the boots is not going to cost you a ton of time, since you've got the fluid. It's pretty quick to get back to Desert.
You gotta hunt down that big key too, so you might just find the boots right along the way there. But, yeah, swamp is kind of the worst place for them.
I mean, double dip pendant swamp is just ugh.
Yeah, no way around it too. That's crazy. Pretty gross.
Well, hopefully the seed will be kinder to them. But I mean, the routing that makes the most sense from this point, as you jokingly referred to, was to hit up Hookshot Cave and perhaps Spike Cave on your way out of Turtle Rock. And then if you get nothing from there, most likely the play is to go to Mire, since you're going to have to dig for the big key anyway.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what we're going to see both of them do. Maybe you'll see a Spike Cave check, maybe not, but yeah, at this point, you probably don't want to leave too many things out there.
Yeah, agreed. Pretty solid Trinex fight from ProblemsIRL there. And he's rewarded with $300. So no boots in Turtle Rock. He is pre-equipping that hook shot, so we know where ProblemsIRL is going.
Swamp Palace?
Obviously, you have to have the swamp. You have to have the hook shot to get through to Swamp Palace.
Correct.
So, man, if he actually just left and went to Swamp Palace, that'd be such a bold play. It would be a dumb play, but it would be bold.
You find those boots. Who's to say? Yeah, no, this is definitely the smart play here. You got 4 easy chest over here to check in. Hookshot Cave. He also doesn't have his flute yet, so he's going to have to take a stop over to Kakariko to turn that in, which, I mean, this race is still razor tight. That's time that, Jim has already spent that he's going to get back.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, we'll have to see, though, because if ProblemsIRL gets the boots from Hookshot Cave, then he'll be able to boot his way over and start picking up time over Gem for some of that overworld movement.
That's correct.
It happens so infrequently, it's always nice when I'm correct. Just gonna get a gold star off my sticker plate here and put it next to my name.
I put it on the fridge.
Nice! Alright, silver arrows. And Problems IRL, I'm forgetting that you actually have to press the use button to actually fire your hook shot. Does successfully get on the second round though.
That's alright.
Alright, so hookshot cave garbage.
He's gonna make
Well, I
the
guess
trip over to
silvers.
Spike cave? Yes, it looks like he is. He remembered.
This would be a very easy location to forget if you're either stressed from the race or not using a tracker or anything else.
Oh, most definitely. I have a feeling both these runners are a little stressed at how this seed's been going for them right now.
Well, you could even tell it. I mean, like you just watched Jem there, a super skilled runner misplacing his Samaria block. I mean, it's the pressure of these races is not to be understated. Like it can really affect your play and your routing decisions just due to the stress.
Yeah, you just walk into rolling pins with spikes on them. Like we take for granted how easy they make this game look, but like just the mental pressure of doing things, like it can get to you. It can make you do dumb things, like what Jem just did.
So to be clear, we just want everyone to know that Jem just did something that was bad and dumb.
But we don't need to talk about that anymore. Problems is heading to turn in his flute the slow way because he doesn't have boots. Because we haven't found them yet.
That's true. We are looking for boots. Now, if I had to put my money on it, I'd say that boots. Would you say? I mean, we're basically down to Mire and Swamp Palace, but I already know in your heart that you believe the boots are in Swamp Palace. I was about to ask you where you thought they were, and that would have been a waste of time.
I think they're in Mire.
You're changing them up on me. I don't know what to believe anymore.
No, I said I want them. So I think they're in Mire. It's, it's my head and my heart. They're conflicting.
It's the true test of a randomizer's soul.
You have to balance out the evils.
Exactly. And this seed has been not very balanced. I feel like it's been mostly evil. Because, I mean, we're looking at a double dip pendant swamp right now. I mean, that's just gross.
We gave him the bow at the start instead of bombs. Actually, we even gave him bombs, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, they had bombs also.
So there's really nothing to complain about. Seed's free.
Seed's free. Free in the sense that, can I please give this away? Let somebody else have it? Alright, well, Problems IRL. Murdering the bird. Alright, oh, that's right, he hasn't been here, so he had to check. For all he knew, that could have been Quake, which would have felt awful.
I just would have been like, alright, back to Swamp.
I mean, this race is definitely tighter than it appears, because Problems IRL is now doing a bunch of things that Jem has already done. So when Jem leaves here, he will most likely check Hookshot Cave and Spike Cave, and then he'll probably go straight to Mire. And Problems IRL is not checking Checkerboard Cave, he's going straight to Mire, it looks like.
Yeah, I'd say it's about a minute and a half here that Problems has. And I think it'll probably stay that way because I don't really see their routes diverging too much based on what they did. I mean, I guess you could have some fetch quest items here in Mire that, could give you some decisions, but outside of that, I think it'll be, Mire to Swamp.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. We've been joking about Swamp, but it is a pendant dungeon, and you still have to clear this crystal dungeon here in Mire, so most reasonable runners are going to do this first. Alright, so Jem already saving a little bit of time over Problems IRL by correctly hitting the hookshot button.
These seconds are starting to add up.
Alright, and because we are an hour and a half in and still don't have boots, you're seeing Problems IRL using some hookshot tech over there to speed up progress through Mire here.
You did that nice too. It's really nice if you get those first two hook shots because you actually skip the cycle on that annoying little electric ball, and so you don't get hit by them. Saves you some time, saves you some hearts.
And if that's not quality tech, I don't know what is.
Surprised you remembered how to use the hook shot, considering how long it's been since he's had one.
Well, maybe your time travel vocal reassurances when we were saying hook shot so many times, maybe it transmitted to them.
You remembered. All right, so that's Jem's Spike Cave check. He's probably right on his way to do Meyer.
Yep, and that minute and a half that you mentioned appears to be pretty close to the real time difference here.
Yeah, I'm always right.
Always.
Meyer's always interesting to route. Everyone does it differently, I think. Problems is doing a good job at finding all the dungeon items so far. I think that's all he's found is small keys, maps, and compasses.
Well, you know, it's going on the scenic tour. If you're full clearing all these other dungeons, I'm a little sad that Jem did not go out of his way to do bird toss. So all memes officially dead.
They got the hammer. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, that's
one item in Meyer.
All right, so big 20. Problems is opting to check the vanilla big key chest here instead of going straight to the back. Oh wait, no, he doesn't have the big key yet.
Yeah, so he only has this chest, or he has the one that's above the big chest. Whatever vanilla items are in there, I don't know that weird vanilla.
Yeah, the chest nobody checks in general.
I see some early checks on it sometimes. You know, people will do a lot of strange things to avoid this cutscene, and I don't blame them. It takes forever. It's boring. You don't even get to see the action. You can see the screen rumbling. All the cool stuff is happening on the other side. It's no fun.
Yeah, what was the design meeting for this puzzle like? All right, guys, we've got this cool tech to move walls in our game. We already showcased it in Desert Palace and Palace of Darkness. So how about we have a weird torch puzzle, and then you don't actually get to see the wall.
And then you get a mushroom from it. Wow, a mushroom?
Gross. Well, I mean, you did bring up the curse of fetch quest items as they were entering this dungeon. So I'm gonna go ahead and blame you, Pac.
I accept it. So
understandable.
Both items. So we're looking at boots from the mushroom or boots in everybody's favorite spot, Swamp Palace.
Oh God. No, it hurts.
If we needed to clip a 100% tutorial of all chests in the game, this VOD would probably be pretty good for it.
Yeah, and you even have slightly different variances on which place to go where and when. Different options.
A to-do list of what not to do while on commentary as well. This would be a very full tutorial.
Yeah. In fact, you're probably better off just pressing mute and watching. I'm gonna be real with you. Alright, meanwhile, ProblemsIRL, having found both items and the big key, will make his way toward Vitreous. Now, it could be interesting here. Jem might opt to go... If he goes to the big key chest and opts to go straight to Vitreous, he might end up losing some time if he has to come back in and check that last item, which is the mushroom.
Or he could be saving all of that time by skipping that item and then skipping the mushroom check, and that would definitely
just going to swamp.
That would make up those 90 seconds. And he is going to get this chest, and I imagine he's going right to video.
Oh man. Well, checking this chest here does make sense. You're right here, but this is something that ProblemsIRL knew he did not have to do.
Did Jim make his way over to the left side to at least get one item?
Maybe.
If he didn't get that one item, he's definitely going back in. But if he did get it, I could see him, that's a 50-50. Maybe you skip it, maybe you don't. But we'll see problems here using silver arrows on these eyeballs here. The easiest way to take them out. One shot for the small ones, two for the big ones.
Doesn't get the zero cycle, unfortunately. But that's alright, still a pretty quick fight with silvers.
Jim is using some ice rods here. I think we might have some bootless spooky strats going on.
Could be hard to tell. I don't think I've seen the setup with ice rod before. Oh, he's doing it. Yeah!
Wow. It's pretty awesome.
So do you want to run us through that? Do you know much about the specifics of that trick, Ak?
I know literally nothing about it. I just know that he knows a lot about it, and I assume that he knew what he was doing.
I was trying to throw you under the bus with an explanation, but at the last minute I decided to change my phrasing.
It's really easy. So what you do is he got the ice rod, he shot it in that one room, a certain way, and then when he got in the next room, he equipped his lamp, and then he used his lamp, and then that made the switches go down, and then I think in the next room he got a fire rod and shot it again, and then it made the switches go down. It's really...
Yeah, really, really high level explanation there from Mac. Good work. That was some... I feel like I could do that trick right now if I had to.
Here's our mushroom check over here. Is this the dream?
Is the dream alive?
Oh my lord. Mushroom from Meyer into boots. Jim better get his butt back in there.
This game is going to hinge on whether or not Jem goes back into Meyer right now. Alright, he does. So this is pretty big for Jem. The temptation to go into Swamp was getting to be pretty high. But he did make the correct play to go back in here.
Alright, that's go mode for Problem. So he is basically a mushroom turn-in ahead of Jim right now.
Well, not only a mushroom turn-in, but Jem also has to go get the mushroom and has to watch that super boring off-screen cutscene.
So he's a mushroom turn-in ahead of Jim right now.
Alright, so Problems did take the time to grab red mail there, it's worth pointing out. I'm gonna have to say that Christmas time penguin a little less cute than the blue tunic penguin. Quote me on that.
I think so too.
Alright, so with Fire Rod, Silver Arrows, Landmo is gonna be pretty trivial here.
Half magic, I mean, even all that stuff accounts into GT. It's going to be very tough for Jim to pick up that time on props.
Yeah, I'd say only if catastrophic failures in GT routing or like a Ganon fall or something like that is going to be what it takes for Jem to get back in this race. Although not impossible, GT routing has decided many a race.
Yeah, Dark Magician strats in GT will. I mean, that saves you 3 to 4 minutes if the keys pay off for you.
Alright, so Jem sees the mushroom and is saddened. But more than likely we'll turn this in before deciding to go to Swamp, because why wouldn't you?
Sometimes you just know. Yeah, he's gonna turn in the mushroom.
Alright, so he'll be rewarded with his boots. So right around the time Jem picks up his boots and flies away, ProblemsIRL is going to be picking up his crystal. Just barely gets the one cycle Landmo there, very nice.
There's your cape. We were looking
for
it.
So the G-Tower safety strats.
Yeah, he's got everything. He's got the complete package here.
I don't want to talk about anybody's complete package. So Jem gets his boots, heads down to Desert. Meanwhile, ProblemsIRL picks up his 7th crystal. Does picking up your 7th crystal and going anywhere particular, does that mean anything, Ak?
Yes, it does. If you want to go ahead and throw a number between 1 and 22, where you think the big key might be. I don't know if I still have permissions to this, because I broke it one time.
I got your back, buddy. So for any of those that have subscribed or donated at least 250 bits to any of the Speed Gaming family and channels, have a chance to be entered in the leaderboard. So, Ak, where's your go-to GME big key location in Gans Tower?
Between 1 and 22?
I mean, you're not wrong. You're just a jerk.
Or 1 and 21?
Okay,
my guess is Hookshot. I think that's where it's going to be.
You broke me. I was like, Hookshot? That's not a location, and then it flipped.
Okay, you can leave me in suspense. What's your guess?
If I had to pick a location, I would have to say it's the shot that shoots hooks.
That's a good one too. Okay.
Solid routing decision. But no, my favorite room is the randomizer room. Because it's the room named after the randomizer, and it also has 4 chests in it, secretly increasing my chance of guessing correctly by 4. A factor of 4.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, usually what I like to do is when the last crystal is Turtle Rock, I like to just blather on and on about my decisions until he's already checked like 3 locations, and then I guess.
Very good.
Thus increasing my odds even more.
Well, I've never won it, so I don't think there's anything I can do to help.
Very solid Silver Arrow strats by Jem there on Landmo.
Yeah, Yeah, we're looking at about 90 seconds. So that's a lot of time to make up in Ganon's Tower here. This is definitely Problem's race to lose. And he has got that early small key. He's electing to go right side. Even got a little swag on that block usage there. I like that.
Yeah, that was very solid. Although this, with a small key being in that chest, that does maximize the variance in routing here. Because if it turns out right side has nothing and Gem does standard left side meta, this could be a chance for him to pick up some time difference. I mean, it's all going to come down to GT routing here, I think.
Yeah, it would have to be GT routing or a very late, well, I guess, all Ganon falls are going to be late, but, or it could just be this Gibdo is literally going to bully Problems for a full 90 seconds. Oh my gosh. Problems,
oh my
please.
God.
Just kill them.
He takes him out. Oh God. Hey, it's a good thing he picked up Red Mail, because that would have been like 5 more hearts gone.
That's very true, actually. God, I was just
yikes! Wow, and is rewarded with map and oh wow, and the big key is on the right side. Oh, so Problems does correctly remember to go get at least one small key. So wow, Problems IRL with the god tier Ganon's Tower routing.
It was worth the bullying. That was a very early big key, and also if you guessed, what was that? Frick, 4?
Let's see here. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4. Was that 5?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it was. I'm gonna confirm with somebody in chat.
I was too busy. I was too busy being absolutely destroyed emotionally by those Gibdos, but I believe it was 5.
Okay, 5 at what? That was 4.
Okay, so now Rick is saying 4. So
right.
I can't read. I can't do math.
Okay,
so
everyone is saying I got splits between 5s and 4s. We're gonna have to check the tape.
All right, anybody that guessed 4.5 is correct. All right, meanwhile, Problems IRL making his way up G Tower. Now, if Gem wants to stay competitive in this race, he has to go full right side here. Let's see what he does. All right, he's doing it. He's going right side. So he's not going to lose any time over Problems. All right, meanwhile, excellent fire rod usage out of Problems there.
The correct answer was 5, but the closest guess was 4. So hey, guess what? We covered our edges on that one. All right, we're good.
It's like they knew. Oh man, good stuff. All right, so Gem has already saved himself about 10 seconds over Problems IRL with the Gibdo skip there. He'll save himself some time on the chest checking there too. He's picking up seconds here or there on Problems IRL. The problem is he needs about 90 of them.
And Problems is being relentless right now. A really nice one cycle over there on land mode 2. He's pretty much flying through the gauntlet here.
Yep, getting a little low on magic, but I think he'll be all right. Oh, and he gets a full magic refill.
It's not worth it.
Doesn't want it.
We gotta go.
Gotta go fast. Yeah, he'll have enough in this room to get done what needs doing. Meanwhile, Gem tearing his own way through Ganon's Tower here.
Nice dash there. That's a pretty tight window. Yeah, none of them could be feeling remotely having any confidence with where they're at right now.
Oh, no.
Because I mean, they did literally everything. They know how good they both are. You have to be thinking your opponent's gonna dot done at any minute, and at this point, it's actually right. They actually will.
Oh yeah, I mean they have to be. I mean, there's nothing more stressful than a tournament match where you're in Ganon's Tower and you're just staring at the text box waiting for your opponent to dot done. Alright, so with the bulk of the gauntlet done and the Ganon's Tower climb for Problems IRL, we've basically got a non-insignificant chance of Trolldorm 2 giving him problems and the Ganon Aghanim fight left. Alright, pretty solid Moldorm 2 from Problems IRL. Gem having a little trouble in the end of the gauntlet there. And he skips the meme chest. Well done, sir.
Yeah, no memes in this run, please.
Yeah, all the memes are dead. Except for the most important one.
Nice one cycle there from Jim as well.
Yeah, these guys are not leaving. The seed mistreated them, so they're just desperately trying to get through. I mean, you could see from Jem's splits that they are red. He's definitely under his average.
I think he just got one shot there. That was kind of an ugly pattern, and they both ended up shooting at the same time. Ooh,
Oh, and then he gets blue balled on the second one. This is another not super friendly pattern.
Hey, that's a double though.
Yeah, respectable.
We're not in binary anymore. Alright, so 1-1, 2-2.
Nice binary joke.
Thank you.
I was trying not to laugh, but I was forced to give you credit.
Yeah, you needed to, because it was getting kind of awkward.
Wow. All right, so pretty decent Aghanim fight given the pattern he was given there. Oh no, Jem, does he get a torch? Oh, he successfully does the backup strat. Nice work by Jem there.
Problems just needs to keep this in the ring here, and he's going to be forcing a game 3, keeping his tournament alive.
Gannon bringing up really important, thought-provoking questions about food availability.
The whole run.
All right, Jem with a just slightly faster Moldorm 2. Meanwhile, Problem's given some dash strats for this Ganon fight here.
What's Gannon doing up here on the top? I guess that means he didn't get the 1-1 on the first cycle there, but he did get it on the second one.
Yep, that was pretty decent phase 2 there. We'll see how Jem does with his Aghanim fight here. He could pick up a little time over Problems if he gets a couple more doubles.
I'll be interested to see it. These patterns are pretty awful as he gets a triple.
I think that might have been a double. I could be wrong, though. Don't quote me on it.
I mean, they all landed, so I counted it as a triple. He did the best he could, but I think it probably did count.
It counted in your heart.
Nice double there for Problems, though, and I think he set himself up for a double-double here, and that could be game. That didn't land? Oh.
Yeah, I think he missed one of the first ones, but it does not matter. Get your GGs out in chat. Problems IRL taking out the blue pig as his opponent is literally flying there now. So we have got ourselves a game 3, Ak. I don't know about you, but I'm excited.
Wouldn't have it any other way. I don't want this tournament to end. This match was awesome the whole entire time. I think the lead changed like about every 30 seconds.
Yeah, and we had lots of hookshot issues.
Yeah, we had a few of those.
The good times never stop. But yes, Problems does finish first with an official SRTV racing time of 1 hour, 46 minutes, 53 seconds. So, I mean, for runners of this caliber, an hour and 45-minute seed is certainly one that is a little rough.
Yeah, when Boots is your go mode in basically the worst possible place, followed by like the worst possible item chain, it's a little understandable why it took that long.
All right, looks like we are joined by Problems IRL. Problems, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you, appreciate it. Shoutouts to Sphere 8 Boots. It was a great one.
Oh god, at what point were you starting to get worried that the double dip independent swamp was going to be what the game wanted?
Swamp actually made me feel pretty good. It's funny because you know, I saw the crystal and pendant layout, and I saw, you know, we needed boots for desert, and it was pendant swamp, and I was like, Jem is totally gonna hover me in Guinness Tower because he can do that. But then I went to swamp as not my last option, and Jem kind of has this thing, you know, where he doesn't like swamp. So when that actually worked out, I felt pretty comfortable. So even like having to go back to swamp wasn't really a worry. Like once I had that cane, I felt pretty good about this race.
How often did Ice Palace cross your mind? There's a couple items left in there.
God.
The whole race?
I left one item in there, and it didn't feel good because I never meant to leave that.
Oh,
Like yeah, it was just one. I did find 2 items. But yeah, like my plan was to go to Ice Palace and figure out the key logic there and see if it was hookshot locked and everything. But I never did that because I never got to open the Ice Tea chest. I jumped down that hole on accident, and I was like, okay, now I'm next to Colster, I might as well kill him. And if he has an item, I'm gonna go leave the last one, and if he doesn't have an item, I'm gonna go back in. It didn't feel good though. It really didn't feel good.
Well, I bet taking home the W on a ridiculous seed like this feels good. You did force the game 3.
Yes, that feels really good. I'm still kind of bummed out about last race because I mind gamed myself into a loss, it feels like. But it's really nice that I could get the win in this one.
All right, looks like we are also joined by Jem. Jem, how are you feeling after that ridiculous seed?
I think Problems already said it, but I'll just say it again. Shoutouts to Svea 8 Boots.
Oh god. Yeah, I asked Problems this. I don't know if you heard, but were you at any point starting to get worried about the double dip pendant swamp?
I was fully expecting that.
Yeah.
I was like about halfway there to just go straight into swamp because the way the seed went, it just had to be there, right? But I guess in the end, the mushroom leading to Boots was just about the seed as well, so can't complain.
Yeah. I was ready to go back straight to swamp though after that mushroom check.
Yeah, I mean, getting rid of that, we were all worried for you, Jem, because when ProblemsIRL was just a little bit ahead of you entering into Mire, and he got that mushroom, and as he was turning it in to get the boots, you were just finishing up Vitreous. We were like, oh god, if Jem doesn't go back into Mire, he's toast. But you ended up making the call. Were you ever considering leaving that, or at that point was it you had to go back in and clear it out?
No, not at all. Actually, I face-palmed a bit when Vitreous dropped the key because I must have missed getting the second dungeon item, like the compass and the map. Because at that point, the last item had to be in the cutscene chest. I just totally blanked out on that and went to Vitreous first anyway. So yeah, that was a pretty dumb time loss, but I don't think it was 2 minutes of a time loss, so it didn't matter.
Do you think that maybe lifting the rock to do the rupee farm in desert, do you think that time loss might have added in this race, or do you have any regrets doing that?
I have no regrets doing that.
Okay.
I want you to know that I almost peed myself. That was good stuff.
I did pee myself, so...
Just a little bit, just to let you know you're alive. Good stuff. All right, well, you guys have got game 3 coming up pretty soon. Have you guys got any like montages you're gonna practice to? Any special preparation that's going into this final game 3?
Well, first of all, the biggest preparation will be telling the admins that we actually have to do the race on another day.
Yes.
Because both of us forgot that we actually had something planned for Friday.
Oh. Well, luckily, I think we have a little bit more time for scheduling this week because of GDQ. So, you guys will have to catch game number 3 between these guys. Make sure you check the schedule because it is going to be pretty epic. You guys put on a really good show today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll just put on this VOD on Friday for that time, and we'll just replay this one over because we don't want anybody to miss it Friday. But yeah, we'll get their other match rescheduled.
I suggest you replay this VOD and not the last one. I'd be fine with that.
Let's do them both back to back. Let's just have a Jim versus Problems, like just sleepover where we watch your VODs all day.
Sleepover, we can eat ice cream and talk about boys. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, any final thoughts from you guys before we wrap this one up here?
I want Boots first chest next seed. I think we earned that.
Yeah, that's just like reverse the order of items.
Exactly.
Boots race.
Well, the randomizer give it, and the randomizer take it away. Excellent.
Sure does.
Well, thanks again for watching, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you give a follow to the Speed Gaming family of channels, Speed Gaming 1 through 6. They put on lots of great content here, so give those guys a follow. I think next up on this channel we have, I believe, a Final Fantasy randomizer race at 7 p.m. Eastern, so in a couple hours. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Thanks again to our runners. Good job, you guys, and also thanks for Actiboker for putting up with me while I drool into the mic here.
Oh no, thank you, Files. It was an enjoyable experience, but yeah, thanks again to the runners for the awesome race.
Excellent. Well, thanks again, guys, and we will see you next mission.
Yeah, see ya.
Super Metroid reference? Oh, I gotta go. Later.